roll of the elbow on the serve. The timing and sequencing of this movement alone equates to the majority of the effortless power you achieve on the serve. In today's serve lesson, I will explain this key skill in detail and show you several drills to help you master it for your own service action.
Before we get started with this video, my name is James Ludlow and I'm a certified instructor here at Online Tennis Instruction. And over the past 9 to 10 years, I've had an obsession with the biomechanics and stroke production in tennis. And over that period of time, my personal opinion is the serve is one of the most complex movements in all sports. So the goal of this lesson today is to break down one of the most complex movements, which is the roll of the elbow on the serve, into easy bite-sized chunks. So with that in mind, I've decided to split the roll of the elbow into 3 basic stages. Stage 1 is all about the elbow alignment and the positioning of the elbow throughout the setup and preparation in your swing. Step 2 then goes on to the bending of the elbow to initiate a power move, which we refer as the right to left arm action. And step 3 is about the leading with the elbow and the timing of this movement to generate more power. So let's get started with step 1, which is all about the elbow alignment. Now, what are we referring to when we speak about the elbow alignment and positioning? There's a few steps to this, but the first step is the alignment term. And what this means, you want to, in the preparation phase of the swing, turn your shoulders away from the target. So when you separate the hit in hand and the toss in hand, your hit and elbow gets in a position where it's aligned with your shoulders, as you can see right here. Now, many players don't turn their upper body enough throughout the preparation phase, so they often end up in a position where the elbow is too far forward and it breaks the shoulder and elbow alignment. The second part of this phase is all about the positioning of your elbow in relation to the rest of your body. Now, what I mean by this is when you're in this position where you have a good alignment, you should also now see the elbow is just below shoulder level. Many players have the issue where the elbow either dips in too close to the body. This is a major power killer on the serve, or the contrary, they go too high above shoulder level when they reach this position. And usually this happens because they activate their arm independently to the body. What you want to feel instead is the upper body is doing the work and you're just turning the shoulders away from the target and then separating the hands to get to this half serve position. Now let's talk about step 2, which is all about the bending of the elbow to initiate the right to left. After we've successfully completed step 1, we should then end up in a position to what we refer as the half serve position. Now in the half serve position, my tip of the racket is pointing to the right side fence and I'm in this good aligned position right here. Now from this position, you then start to complete a major power move, which is what we call the right to left arm action. Now the right to left arm action allows the racket to then get into another key power position, which is what we call the racket drop position, as you can see on screen right now. But getting into that racket drop position, you need to ensure that you effectively complete a good right to left action. And this is where the bending of the elbow comes into play. So what will happen from this half serve position? From here, it's very simple. All you're going to do is isolate the elbow and just bend at the elbow to initiate this right to left action. A very good analogy for this, imagine that you're saluting like the soldiers do in the army. If you all do this watching the video, you see how my elbow is not moving up or down, it's remained stationary, but all I'm doing is breaking at the elbow and the hand then starts to move around over my bicep. This then leads to the racket initiating this right to left action. Now this brings us into step 3, which is all about the leading with the elbow and the timing of when this happens to maximize your power. So from this half serve position, you're going to complete the right component of the right to left, and that is done by bending at the elbow, but the elbow, as we discussed, is going to remain stationary. It's not going to move at this point. And then you're going to reach a point where you completed the right component and the racket is now passing your head. At this point, it's also going to coincide with your body being fully loaded and coiled. Now, from this point, you're then going to begin to drive from the ground. It's going to initiate from the ground up. And when this happens, the elbow is now going to start to lead. And when it leads, it's going to move forward and upward. And that is going to allow the racket to be propelled down and away from your body into this racket drop position. So to summarize the roll of the elbow in 3 simple steps, Step 1 is all about the elbow alignment and positioning. Step 2 goes into the bending of the elbow to initiate the right to left. And step 3 is the leading of the elbow to get into the all-important racket drop position. Now that we have a good understanding of the role of the elbow, it's time now for the hard part, which is learning the skill out on the tennis court. Now, to help you really get a good shot of learning the role of the elbow, I'm going to take you through a series of progressions here, which you can go out and do by yourself on the tennis court. And the first step is all about mastering your throw-in action. Now, when you're hitting your serve, it's essentially a throw-in action. So the best way to start is to learn how to effectively throw a ball. The first step to learning how to throw correctly is going to help you with the elbow alignment phase in your service action. So what you want to do, get a ball and set up anywhere. I'm just on the tennis court here for demonstration purposes, but this can be done in the comfort of your own home. And what you're going to do, starting from your starting position when you serve, you're going to transition the weight to the back leg, and as you do this, you're going to turn your shoulders slightly away from the target. Now from here, you're going to separate your hands and you're going to get to your half serve position. And in the half serve position, you should see that your elbow is aligned with the shoulders, as we discussed. The logo of the ball is pointing down to the ground. This is going to help get that palm down position. And my tossing arm is raised up, just like this. And you're just going to do this a few times where you'll reset back to your starting position, turn away, get to your half serve and just hold. And I want you to physically look back and check these positions. Many of you are going to end up in a position more like this, where you're too frontal and the elbow is too far forward, as you can see here. So just do that a few times where you turn away and you hold, and just check this position. After you've completed step 1, you'll be in your half serve position. And now from here, you're going to initiate the bending phase with the roll of the elbow. So all you're going to do, imagine you're saluting, you just bend the elbow. And when you do this, the logo of the ball is now going to point to your ear. So you go step 1, turn away, get to your half serve. Step 2, you bend the elbow. And now when the logo of the ball is passing your ear, you're going to go to step 3, where you lead with the elbow and throw the ball. So all the steps will look like this. You go step 1, step 2, step 3, and throw. Now a key thing to remember when you're throwing the ball, you want to try to throw the ball as high as you can in the air, since this is going to replicate the up and out swing. Many of us, when we start to throw the ball, we try to throw the ball as far as we can. And that's an issue because it's going to pull our body open too much and result in the swing coming down too much. So try to focus on, when you're doing this, throwing as high as you can to replicate this up and out swing when you serve. After you've done this a few times throwing the ball, what you can then do is pick up your racket and just do some shadow swings where you focus on going through those 3 steps. So step 1 is get into your half serve position and holding. Double checking, all looks good. Step 2, you bend the elbow. Step 3, you lead and then you throw. And just go through that. If you have to break it into stages in the beginning, that's fine. Just go step 1, half serve. Step 2, bend. Step 3, lead and swing. And then you can be more fluid. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And just do that a few times until you feel comfortable. Now at this point, you may be asking yourself, how do I know if I'm doing this correctly when I'm out by myself on the tennis court without anyone else around me to tell me if I'm doing it correctly? This is where self-analysis comes into play. And the beauty in today's age, you can self-analyze yourself on the court simply with an iPhone, or smartphone I should say. Right now I'm using an iPad to do this, but you can do just as well with a smartphone. And all I'm going to do, I'm just going to set this up on a tripod, very basic tripod that you can get from Amazon, and I'm actually going to film myself so I can visibly see what I'm doing and review it back. So let's see a couple here where I film myself, and then we can look back on video and see how this looks. And in the video, what I'm going to get is just a couple of throws so we can see how it looks with the ball. So I'm going to set up here, all looks good, and I'm going to go through the steps. Do one more, 1, 2, 3, just like that. And now what I can do from there, I can go back, I can stop the recording, and we can look at the film and see how it looks. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to look back now and see how this all looks. So I'm looking for step 1, which is the half serve position. I see that right now where the elbows are aligned with my shoulders, the logo of the ball is pointed down. Now step 2 is going to go into the bending of the elbow segment. Hand will move around over my bicep, as you can see there. And now step 3, as the logo of the ball reaches my ear, the elbow is now going to lead forward and upward. And there is that racket drop position. And then from there I throw and I release. So just by using the smartphone here or a tablet, I can visibly check myself and ensure I'm on the right path. And to take this a step further, this is how a lot of our OTI students have achieved such dramatic breakthroughs. You can also send us videos to the OTI coaching team, and an OTI instructor can personally analyze your stroke and ensure you're on the right path. Now, if you're interested in getting your serve or whatever stroke personally analyzed by an OTI instructor, we do actually have a special trial offer going on right now, and you can find out more about that beneath this video in the description. Now, the next progression is what I call the toss and hold drill. And this is going to allow you to add the racket into play and make it more realistic. So what you're going to do, you're going to take a ball again in your hand, but also you're going to have a racket now in your hand. And the first step of this progression, you're just going to complete step 1, and you're going to toss the ball and hold in your half serve position, just like this. And I'm not even going to hit the ball, I'm just tossing and holding. And when I hold, I double check, look back, okay, I've turned my shoulders away from my target, my elbow is aligned with my shoulders, and it's just below shoulder level. All looks good. And that's the first step. So you can do that a few times until it feels somewhat comfortable. And then what you can do to progress the training a little bit and make it more realistic, you're then going to introduce step 2 and 3, which is the bending and leading segment. So it looks something like this. You go step 1, toss and hold. Step 2, bend. Step 3, lead and swing. And as you can see at this point, I'm isolating and going very slow. So I can just really break it down and feel each movement. But as I get better, it can look a little bit more fluid, like this. So I go step 1, hold, 2, 3. I'll do one more time. Step 1, hold, 2, 3. And then what you can do, you can make it more realistic and play with the timing of when you initiate 2 and 3 of the steps. What I mean by that is, I'm not going to hold so long when I get to step 1. I'm going to look more like this. I go 1, 2, 3. So I'm still not hitting the ball, but I'm making the rhythm of the serve more realistic. And again, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Just like this. Now let's go on to the final step, which is the most difficult transition for every single player, regardless of the level. And that is the transition from the shadow swing and drills to actually hitting the ball with the new technique. So the question is, how do you counteract this and stop it from happening? What you have to do is train in a very isolated environment and then build it up in micro progressions. You want to put yourself in an environment where it's very easy to focus on the new mechanics. And the way you do that, the number one key, avoid the baseline. Most of you watching the video right now, including myself when I was working on my game, we get all of this newfound information, we do a couple of shadow swings, and then we try to do it hitting the ball from the baseline. And it's going to break down right away. So what you want to do instead, you want to break it down and actually come inside the court. As soon as I come inside the court, it's now taken away, first of all, the service box. And it's also a very different environment for the brain. The second step, I'm going to serve down the line. I'm going to eliminate this service box completely. So now what am I doing? I'm eliminating the result segment. I'm not focusing now on the result. And now the third thing, I'm going to isolate my swing and start from the half serve position. So I'm also breaking down the swing. And what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to work with a rotation of 2 shadow swings, 1 hit. 2 shadow swings, 1 hit. And in the shadow swing phase, I've already completed step 1. So my shoulder and elbow are aligned. And all I'm going to focus on is step 2 and 3, where I bend and lead with the elbow. So I do 2 shadow swings of this first. Start on the half serve, bend and lead. And now I'm going to hit the ball. And when I hit the ball, all I'm going to do is just simply go up and just tap the ball very lightly. I'm not going to try to hit the ball very hard. This again is going to slow it down and allow me to focus on the mechanics. Let me show you. So bend, lead. I'm just tapping. Half serve, now I go back to my shadow swings. Serve. And now I hit the ball bend, lead. Now what you can do from there is slowly build it back towards the baseline, working in those micro progressions. So what I would do from the half court position, I would then just take a few steps back to where I'm just inside the baseline. Still starting from my same isolated position, and I would do that going all the way back to the baseline until it works effectively. And again, the way you know if it's working effectively, self-analyze and film yourself. From that stage, you can then go to the full service swing. And this obviously is going to be a lot more challenging. So what I'd recommend you do is start with dummy ball tosses. So you'll just fake the ball toss up without hitting it, and you'll just focus on going through your shadow swing action, following the 3 steps with the roll of the elbow. Let me show you one more. So I'll go nice and slow without hitting the ball, going through all those steps. Once that feels comfortable, then again, you can start to hit the ball. But when you do this again, go nice and slow and just focus on tapping the ball initially. If the ball don't go over the net, that's fine. You're just tapping. And then from there, you can increase the difficulty and increase the speed of your swing. So there you have it. In this video, I wanted to break down one of the more complex movements, which is the roll of the elbow when you serve. And the first step to this lesson was all about developing a good understanding of the movement. And to summarize that segment, you have 3 steps for the roll of the elbow. Step 1 is the alignment. Step 2 is the bending. Step 3 is the leading. If you get those 3 steps working together in harmony, you're going to get a good serve. From there, we then went on to the learning process, where we take our newfound knowledge, we take it out on the court or in an environment where we can work on it, and we start to build it up in a step-by-step manner. And really make sure when you're in this phase, self-analyze yourself. If you've got to use a smartphone or just get a friend to hold it for you and film yourself, do that. You can also use a mirror or a reflection if you're at home. That's another great way in which you can self-analyze and see if you're doing it correctly. And then from there, just focus on building up slowly through the progressions until you've mastered it in each stage. So I hope this gives you a good understanding today on one of the more complex movements in all sport, which is the service action. If it did give you a better understanding, please go ahead beneath the video and share your feedback. Also, please like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this in the coming future.
How would you like to get your own personalized video analysis from a certified OTI instructor? That is exactly what the Premium All Access Pass is for. With the Premium All Access Pass, you not only get the video reviews, but you also get access to all of our video courses and modules. These courses and modules cover every topic you need as a tennis player, so you can become that complete player that dominates on the tennis court. Right now we have a special trial for you that includes all of these video modules and courses, but also your very own personalized video analysis from our OTI instructor. To find out more about this special trial, please click the link either inside this video or below it right now.